With Todd Monken now hired, 8 of the 10 head coaching vacancies this cycle have been filled. This leaves just 2 remaining openings, the Cardinals and the Raiders. All right, Adam Schefter, we welcome you in on this Thursday morning. Let's empty the notebook a little bit. What are all the tentacles that you're hearing here now that the Browns have hired Todd Monken?
Well, the Browns made their choice, and they did so to elevate their offense. They feel like bringing in Todd Monken will improve their play on the offensive side of the football. But by hiring Todd Monken, they created 2 notable issues, one for them and one for the New York Giants. Theirs is on the defensive side of the football, where Jim Schwartz, their defensive coordinator, was a finalist for the head coaching job that went to Monken. And after they chose Monken, Jim Schwartz had a long talk yesterday with the Browns general manager, Andrew Berry. And my understanding is I don't think Jim Schwartz is a happy guy that he didn't get this job. He was bypassed. Just think of anybody in any situation when they don't get the promotion that they're looking for. Are they going to want to stay with that company? Probably not. And so the Browns would love to keep Jim Schwartz and love to pair him with Todd Monken, and they believe he's got 2 years left in his contract. But if you don't want to work and you don't want to fulfill the terms of your contract, you're just not going to show up. So the Browns right now have an issue on the defensive side of the football. The other issue is with the New York Giants, who thought that Todd Monken would be going with John Harbaugh to New York to run the offense, to make life pleasant for Jackson Dart. And now the Giants have got the head coach they wanted in John Harbaugh, but they don't have somebody to run the offense, somebody that they were hoping and planning to have. And now the Giants have gone into a full search mode to go find a new offensive coordinator that they didn't think that they would have to be looking for. And it puts them in a tough position on the offensive side of the football. It puts the Browns in a tough position on the defense side of the football. And with every move that's made at this time of the year, there's always the ramifications that come from that one move, the ripple effect.
The butterfly effect of it. Hawk, I ask you, what are your thoughts on Todd Monken being the head coach in Cleveland over maybe 35-year-old Nate Schillhouse or Jim Schwartz?
I think it's less of a risk than you go with the very, very young guy, at least from that perspective. When you look at Todd Monken, he's a guy that the Cleveland Browns have familiarity with. He was an OC there. And you look at the issues that they've had over the years. They've always had an incredible defense. So from their thinking, if we're able to somehow keep Coach Schwartz intact, which has done incredible job on the defensive side of the ball, been one of the top defenses, personnel is handled by the front office. We need a guy to stabilize the offense and command a room, right? And so when you look at Todd Monken's background in the NFL and places he's been an offensive coordinator and all the years that he's had in those locker rooms, you feel like you have a guy that can command the room and you can stabilize your offense. You can elevate your offense. You can develop your offense. These are the quarterbacks under Monken right here that you're seeing on the screen. And if this was a hire that was made a year ago after Lamar Jackson had back-to-back first-team All-Pro seasons, I feel like the sentiment would be a lot different. I think the Browns are centering in on that. This is a guy they requested early in the process, and so it does not surprise me that ultimately it was who they chose.
Look, this is one of those where every Browns fan was excited with Udinsky or Schillhouse. Give us something young, give us something fresh. They get Monken, but he does have a great history with quarterbacks. We look to the quarterback room. Is this a Shedeur Sanders hire in your eyes?
Oh, God, no. No, I would say this. If you're Todd Monken, it's the first and really only time that you're going to be a head coach. You're going to handpick your quarterback. You're going to want to go and if this was the one opportunity that you get, and I don't know when that pick will be made or who, and if it's going to be a free agent or a draft pick, but this is the one shot you get. I'm sure Shedeur is going to factor into the conversation at some point. Ravens were entertaining drafting Shedeur last year. Was Todd Monken a person behind that? All of that. But I can't imagine that this is the first opportunity. You said he's 60? First opportunity that I get.
60 next week.
Okay, 60 next week. This is the first opportunity and likely the only opportunity you get. You're not just going to go all in on a 5th-round pick, at least going into his second year. Todd Monken's a really good coach. He spearheaded the best version of Lamar Jackson we've ever seen. We've seen some really good versions of Lamar Jackson, but the year 2 years ago was great. And for those who don't know, he was the offensive coordinator at Georgia when Georgia was winning their national championships. And I would say this, Kirby Smart in the college football playoff is 4-0 with Todd Monken as his offensive coordinator. He's 1-3 without him. There's other parts attached to that, but that's a fact, okay? So he's a good coach. Yeah. I do think it's safe and comfortable by the ownership and the decision. I also think it weakens your strength. Your strength was defense. Now you have a loss of defensive coordinator. You also have your best player, Myles Garrett, probably sitting there once again going, seriously? Again? We're going to do this all over again?
I'm going to look back to Adam because we're going to go back to the New York side of it here. So Harbaugh gets hired 2 weeks ago. Everyone does a parade all the way down Broadway and everything, and everyone just assumes it's Monken. Monken gets hired. I assume they had some other alternatives in their back pocket, and where are they now in the process of now finding an offensive coordinator?
I would not say that they had alternatives in their back pocket. I think it left them scrambling a little bit here. And I think that when you look at all the names that the Philadelphia Eagles have looked to and brought in and talked to, I think those are some of the names on the New York Giants checklist for offensive coordinator. But it was supposed to just be bring in Todd Monken, insert him, offense running. Now you first got to go find the guy. You got to go through the interview process. They're going to talk to a handful of candidates. And I think as of this morning, they don't have any idea where that offensive coordinator hire is going to come from.
The Ravens, the last time they were looking for an offensive coordinator, I think they interviewed 25 different people before.
The Eagles have interviewed 8 offensive coordinators so far. 8.
Okay.
I would be surprised if the Giants aren't talking to a whole bunch of them in the days to come.
Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Let's go from the bus.
I love it. Thank you, Peter. Thank you for having us on the show, Hawk. I see you decided to dress down for everybody there.
Yeah,
glad everybody else is doing out.
One time we don't come and he's rocking a.
Have some professionalism, Hawk.
We were hoping that you guys would be fully suited and booted in the bus, but we were not so lucky.
I am fired up about the potential of Sammy D, another friend of the show, hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. All the critics, all the haters that said he couldn't get it done, this, that, and the other. What if I told you, boys, and I'm glad that Greeny's not on the show for this, but when Sammy D got drafted to the Jets, we told the world that in a draft class with Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold, that Sam Darnold would be the first to win it, except it will be with the Seattle Seahawks. That is what I'm fired up about.
Sammy D, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in the postseason. Anybody who is still a hater of Sam Darnold are just strictly a hater. They don't know ball.
That's it. More of a serious point, because there were reports that maybe Drake Maye's shoulder isn't perfect. What do you got here? We're 10 days from the Super Bowl. Like, that's a major piece of news.
Well, it's not perfect. He banged it at the end of the AFC Championship game, stayed in the game, finished the game. But here's the play that he went down, landed on his right shoulder, reached for it right away. You knew something was wrong. We do not know exactly what it is. What we do know right now is that he would not have been a full participant at practice yesterday in their estimated practice report. They listed him as a estimated limited participant. Limited means there is something wrong with the shoulder. Something. Just looking at that, my guess would be a sprained AC joint. Just looking at it. I don't know that. Just a guess. I've seen enough injuries over time. If it is that, well, there are things you could do on Super Bowl Sunday to take care of that pain, and you go out and play the game. He's not going to miss the game. Yeah. That's not going to happen. The question is, will it impact his performance in any way?
The quote that, it's not nothing. You played quarterback. You've had injuries. When you hear throwing shoulder before the Super Bowl, that to me raises a little bit level of concern.
Yeah, I'm not going to play the guess game of what it is or a doctor type of thing. I probably side with Schefter, thinking it's not anything major. He obviously finished the game. I'd say this just. One, he will need his best game of the season for New England to win. He will have to play the best game that he has played for New England to win against this defense. The reality is, New England is ahead of schedule. They are. This is the toughest defensive stretch a quarterback has had to face to get to and then win a Super Bowl. I mean, we're talking top 5 defense, top 5 defense, top 5 defense, top 5 defense, okay? So everyone who's like, what's going on with Drake Maye? He's playing ridiculously good defenses. The number one thing he'll have to be is precise. To play well against this defense in Seattle, he will have to be precise. He was in the regular season. He has not been in the postseason, health or not. He'll need his best game.
He is one of 2 MVP candidates in the league. Him and Matthew Stafford probably will be the top 2 vote getters. So he's had a great year. And this would be the way to finish it off in style if he's capable of doing it.
Let's get to the bus. Taylor, Will, your thoughts? Drake Maye, shoulder, what do you think?
Yeah, when it comes to the shoulder, when Drake Maye hits the ground and he grabs it immediately, we just call that an oil check real quick. We've all been in the situation, yourself included, Schefter. You've been walking down State Street in Ann Arbor. You roll your ankle off the curb. You're like, oh, damn. All right, it gets a little hot.
Yep.
So you give it a quick feel. at the end of the day, man, there's a bunch of medicine's gone a long way. He's gonna be able to numb it up, do whatever he's got to do. Because when it comes to a game like this, there is no, hey, we'll get him next time. You were at the top. This is the opportunity to etch yourself in infamy. This is a non-issue.
Yeah, if I could piggyback off Taylor, look, the medicine's called lidocaine. If it's an AC joint, you get a little lidocaine in there. We've all been there.
Okay.
Outside of Danny O, he'd probably sit out of the Super Bowl if he had
Yeah.
traditional. But I'm not as worried about.
Not smiling. He's not smiling, guys.
Oh, Dan, come on, Dan. Dan, smile. Let's try some fun
It's a
today.
fun show.
I know you're tough.
Yeah.
I know you're tough.
Come on, Dan.
But I'm not as worried
I'm gonna have
about
to share that
Drake
voice
Maye
note.
as much as I am worried about the offensive line protecting him and establishing the run game. Like if they can run duo or getting their two back looks and run against this defense, you got Ernest Jones, you got Drake Thomas, the white bull terrier, as I like to refer to him as, Nick Emanwari. This is a deadly front seven. And then when they do get into their play action game, are they going to be able to protect him so that way Drake Maye can operate back there in the pocket?
Travion Henderson, just 4 snaps last game for the New England Patriots. Talking about that
play
2-run.
more.
Very interesting. We'll
He'll play
see what's
more.
going to happen.